Hey, what's up guys? In this video, we're going to be comparing two dash cams that live on completely different ends of the price spectrum, the Torvo TD3 and the FineVu GX1000. On one hand, we've got the Torvo, a budget-friendly option that costs under $100 and gives you 4K recording up front with a 1080p rear. On the other hand, there's the FineVu GX1000, which sits in the premium category at about 3 times the price and offers 2K resolution on both the front and rear. They both promise solid protection on the road, but the real question is, does spending 3 times more on the FineVu give you 3 times the value? Or is the Torvo the smarter buy for everyday drivers? Let's break it down. When we placed the Torvo TD3 and the FineVu GX1000, the differences were noticeable, but looking closer, we also spotted a few things they share. The Torvo TD3 feels light in the hand and very compact, almost like it's made to disappear on the windshield. The FineVu GX1000, on the other hand, feels heavier and more premium the moment we pick it up. It's clearly designed for drivers who want that high-end, refined dashcam experience. Now, we really liked that the Torvo comes with a 3.2-inch screen. Well, at this price range, that's not something we normally expect. Unlike the TD3, the FineVu GX1000 doesn't have a screen at all, which might feel like a downside at first, but maybe FineVu's idea here is a low-profile setup that works mainly through app control. And here, the Torvo 4K front camera looks solid and well put together, while the rear unit is more on the basic side, we can say. Though we're curious to see how it handles real-world use. Now take a look at the FineVu cam. Both the front and rear cameras feel almost like twins, though they use the same 5.1 megapixel Sony Starvis sensor. Well, here we find out the only difference is the mounting option, basically. But hey, these are just first impressions. Next, we'll break down the features, performance, and everything else. Now, out of the box, both these dash cams come with more or less everything to get started with. Inside the Torvo box, we found the main unit, which felt well-balanced and solid in hand. The buttons are right here beneath the screen and were easy to press, not overly stiff. In a separate compartment, there was the rear camera with a cable long enough to fit most cars. The box also included a power cable for the cigarette lighter port, an electrostatic sticker, a user manual, and a 64 gigs of memory card already included, which is a nice addition at this price. Like most dash cams, to get the full set of features, we needed to hardwire it. So we also bought the hardwire kit, which came with a long cable and a pry tool. Pretty standard stuff. And at this price point, expecting more wouldn't be realistic. Now, shifting to the FineVu GX1000, here we're going to see most of the same stuff we already saw with the Torvo. One thing we noticed, and really liked, is that the hardwiring cable actually comes included. That might sound small, but trust us, with many dash cams you usually have to buy it separately, which means extra cost and hassle. Here, FineVu saves us that trouble. As for the core essentials though, FineVu doesn't miss anything. Inside, we got the main GX1000 unit along with both front and rear cameras. The cable length is generous enough to route cleanly through the car, the adhesive mounts feel strong, and there's a detailed instruction guide. Now, if you want a more flexible setup, you can always add extras like a cigarette lighter power cable or a USB SD card reader, or even a bundled micro SD card with an adapter. FineVu treats those as optional add-ons, so it really depends on how you plan to use the dashcam. For us though, we didn't need any of that extra stuff, so we didn't bother buying it. Now, when it comes to design and build, the two cameras take very different routes. Starting with the FineVu GX1000, we feel that its front camera is on the larger side compared to some other dash cams, but its rounded, low-profile shape helps it blend onto our windshield without feeling like a bulky eyesore. Here, the rear unit is compact too, and both cameras have LED indicators that light up when recording. Handy not just for knowing they're working, but also for giving a little deterrent effect at night. Now, the Torvo TD3, on the other hand, it's got this 3.2-inch IPS LCD on the back that gives a live preview of what the front camera sees. Yeah, it gives a little old-school vibe, but in practice, it's actually quite reliable. And, let us tell you, in FineVu, there is no display screen. Yeah, you can check footage, but through the app. The interface on the Torvo TD3 seemed pretty straightforward, and that's something we liked. Plus, we can switch to the rear view or a split screen showing both. Right up front, You get the resolution setting where you can switch between 2K and 4K recording. Then you've got loop recording with 3 different duration options. And when you're bouncing on rough roads or just want to lock a clip fast, physical buttons make sure the input registers. But interestingly, FineVu and Torvo both build GPS directly into the camera itself. So, here, you won't have to depend on anything or worry about the risk of swapping mounts and losing GPS data. Video quality is where the rubber meets the road for any dash cam. And this is where the FineVu GX1000 and Torvo TD3 take different approaches. The GX1000 records both front and rear in 2K QHD at 30 FPS. And honestly, the footage looks really sharp and detailed. Colors are good, and it captures traffic clearly. Well, since we're dealing with a premium dashcam here, we're actually expecting a little more, like 4K at 60 FPS, which some other high-end brands already offer in a similar price range. And if we're paying for top-tier gear, why not push it a bit further, right? As the Torvo TD3, which is actually more budget-friendly, it gives true 4K at 30 FPS for the front camera. So technically, we get a higher resolution there, just at the same frame rate. With the GX1000, it's more about consistency and reliability of the 2K feed rather than chasing the absolute highest numbers. Well, FineVu is actually using Sony Starvis sensors. Yeah, the tried-and-true setup known for good low-light performance. Now, Starvis is still great, but these days a lot of newer dashcam models are moving up to the Starvis 2 sensor, even at prices lower than what FineVu charges. And even in Torvo TD3 though, they don't use a Sony Starvis sensor at all, but the front camera still shoots in true 4K, while the rear sticks to 1080p Full HD. And honestly, the video quality is actually impressive. So even without Starvis, Torvo manages to deliver super sharp footage for the price you're paying. And at this budget-friendly range, that's actually pretty impressive. Even the night footage of Torvo is bright and usable enough, and daylight clarity is excellent. Now, the diagonal field of view of FineVu is 139 degrees, which we can say gives a decent perspective of the road ahead and behind, but it's not super wide actually. Some of the corners might be a little out of frame. But here the Torvo TD3 goes a bit wider with a 170-degree field of view. So we get a much broader look at the road, capturing more of the surroundings, and it can be really useful in busy traffic or tight spots. Well, when it comes to smart features and app experience, we have to say the FineVu GX1000 definitely tries to impress. It's packed with high-tech goodies like AI Damage Detection 2, which monitors different zones of your car for impacts and even filters out false alarms. But in Torvo, it only focuses on what really matters. So, it reliably triggers when someone walks close to the car or bumps it, but avoids most of the false alerts you'd see on dashcams in this price range. Plus, the Torvo's Vidger app connects over 5 GHz Wi-Fi, and the live feed shows up without noticeable delay. On top of that, FineVu has ADAS Plus features like front vehicle motion alerts, speed camera warnings that update quarterly, and smart time-lapse recording that can capture over 11 hours of footage. But unlike FineVu Cam, Torvo doesn't come with ADAS features. But to be honest, dashcam ADAS isn't that useful anyway since it often gives false alerts and most people end up disabling it after a couple of days. And both dashcams actually come with built-in GPS, which is something we really appreciate. From our experience, it's more than just a nice-to-have feature. It tracks your exact location and speed while recording. Talking about the footage preview, on the GX1000, clips aren't organized well in the app, so finding a specific recording was a bit of a hassle. You end up scrolling through everything, which takes time. But here we really appreciate the footage preview of TD3, as we liked the way clips and all recordings are neatly organized, and previewing them is smooth and simple. You can quickly find the clip you need without any stress, making it way more user-friendly in everyday use. Plus, there's no cloud storage option, but in a way that keeps things simpler. Everything stays local and secure, and you're not relying on a subscription or internet signal. Here, we also want to mention that both of these dash cams rely on a supercapacitor instead of a lithium battery. So that basically means they both can handle summer heat a lot better and keep long-term reliability in check. Though, we didn't experience anything such so far. Now, in parking mode, FineVu uses its hardwiring kit and built-in power-saving parking mode and has AI heat monitoring, which switches modes to automatically prevent overheating. But Torvos's parking mode also relies on the hardwire kit for power and draws about 3 or 4 watts, which is quite efficient. And Torvo's parking mode uses motion and G-sensor detection. Now, the Torvo TD3, on the other hand, keeps it straightforward but effective, and that's why we really like this. Its 24/7 parking mode relies on both motion detection and the G-sensor to start recording whenever something happens. But yeah, full functionality does require an additional $15 hardwire kit, but once it's set up, the TD3 monitors your car around the clock. And clips are automatically locked if motion or impacts are detected, front or rear, which is actually useful for catching potential incidents without having to sort through hours of footage. We set the G-sensor to medium to avoid false triggers from potholes or bumps while driving, and it worked well, catching the important stuff without filling the memory card with junk. So, which one should you get? Well, it really comes down to what matters most to you. But in our perspective, after extensive testing and comparison, the answer to our original question is clear. More price doesn't necessarily mean more value in the dashcam. The FineVu GX1000 is definitely a well-made camera with impressive specifications and advanced features, and right now it costs around $300. So, if you have a good budget and want every possible bell and whistle, it's a solid choice that won't disappoint, except the 2K resolution part. But for the majority of drivers, the Torvo TD3 represents a smarter investment. At just around $99 with a 64 gigs card included, it delivers the core dash cam performance you actually need while saving you over $200 compared to premium alternatives. That 4K front recording captures the critical details you need for insurance purposes. The GPS logging provides valuable trip data. The parking mode protects your vehicle when you're away. The night vision handles low light conditions well enough for real-world use. The TD3 proves that good engineering and smart design choices can deliver premium performance at budget prices. Alright, that's a wrap on today's comparison. Which one would you love to choose? Let us know in the comments below. And if you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next one.